Earnest money, what is it for? Why do we need it? How does it work? That's what we're going to be talking about today on this episode of Karina Explains It All. So when it comes to earnest money, the Arizona real estate purchase contract requires that an earnest money deposit amount is listed. Now that amount is something that your agent can guide you as a buyer as to how much you should put down. In Arizona, it's historically been an average of 1%, but right now we're seeing people offering 1.5% to 2% because of a very strong seller's market, and a buyer is trying to strengthen their offer by putting down more earnest money and showing how serious they are. Well, earnest money does show how serious you are because that money is deposited with the title company, who's a third-party neutral person in the contract. They hold that money in escrow throughout the entire contract to make sure that both sides perform. If the buyer fails to perform or breaches the contract in any way, the seller is able to go through a process where they can claim that earnest money, cancel the contract, and sell it to another buyer. So it's your agent's responsibility to keep your earnest money safe throughout the entire contract and know all of the steps that you are required to perform on as a buyer so that they can make sure your earnest money is never in jeopardy, right? That's the number one thing you're hiring a professional for, is to really guide you through that and make sure that your earnest money is always protected. Okay, so what if there's a dispute? What if the buyer cancels the contract and they feel as though they canceled under grounds that were allowable and they want their earnest money back, and the seller thinks that that wasn't an allowable cancellation and they want to state claim to the earnest money? What happens then? Well, it doesn't happen all the time. It's not a frequent occurrence, but when it does happen, what happens is the title company is going to be the non-biased third party that's going to review the contract, review what happened, and they're going to be the ones that makes the determination of who receives the earnest money. So your title company plays a really important role. And as long as you meet all the terms of the contract, then when you close, that earnest money is going to go towards your closing costs or your down payment, and it'll be essentially it's money that always kind of stayed in your pocket. It was just held safe throughout the contract to make sure that you performed. If you have any questions about earnest money or you want to talk about buying a home in Arizona, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me on any of my social platforms, send me a DM, a text, an email, whatever is convenient for you. I'm always available to answer your questions, and I'm happy to set up an appointment to talk more about buying a home in Arizona.